Oh, fuck.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. I'm your host, Dark Match. What are we going to change my name to? I didn't figure this out before I went live. Dark Match Eve? That would sound similar enough. Are we going to do Dark Match Stephanie or Trans Match Steve? Dark Trans Steve. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tonight, we are having a very special stream. All trans, all stream. We are doing a full stream about trans stuff. I am now trans. I am a woman. I haven't cut off my penis yet, though. When I do, we are going to auction it off and donate the money to Planned Parenthood and some doctor that's willing to castrate a child. We support that. Do you guys know what I'm referencing here with the broken cigarette? It's okay. Let me get to the chat. And then we're going to get started. We got a debate to go through. Our buddy Destiny, okay? That's our guy. That's our little CSer, okay? He did a debate, some kind of debate conversation about transgenders with Warren Smith, who I'm not familiar with at all. Sounds sexy, though. And also our boy, Alex Stein, infiltrated a trans protest thing. I don't even know what it is. I've waited to watch it so that we can watch the full thing together on stream. So welcome. Come on in. Sit down. Take your wig off if you'd like. Get comfortable. Let me get to the chat. Lovers. Fat Pig. Hey, hot tits. I really do have hot tits tonight. Check this out. Oh. This is the real me. This isn't a bit. I am actually trans now. Were you guys ready for this? Michael Earl, welcome. Bob Cook's up in here. Thomas Gilson. Dark Trans Steve, yes. Johnny Fradley, my buddy, my dude. Hell yeah. Smoke them if you got them tonight. Hey, you called it. Yeah, you put that Dark Trans Steve. You put that in the chat before I even put the camera on. You knew I had a little something up my sleeve tonight. You know, I had something tucked. Oh, God. Are you guys ready to transition tonight? I gotta hit this bowl. I look like Kit Boga or something. Look, I thought I had red lipstick, dude. I thought I had some here. I do have some here somewhere. I do. But I can't fucking find it. So I went with really light pink colored lip liner and just did the whole thing. You can't even see it. You can see it on the cigarette, but you can't barely see it on my lips. Oh, I'm going to hit this bowl. Wait, I need a toothpick because I'm not actually going to smoke a cigarette because I'm not a fucking piece of shit. Sorry, fat pig. Guys, who actually, now be honest, I know you guys fuck with me every night and just tell me bullshit up in my chat. Number one, you're either fucking with me or you're just telling me what I want to hear, so I'll shut the fuck up and move on. Tell me, though, in the chat, if you have a boner right now from seeing me as a woman. Hey, dude, nice look. Thank you. Natural aspired. Berto Perez is up in here. Yeah, cigarettes are gross. All right, let's get started because I can't be on late tonight. I feel like it's not even dark enough outside for me to be in drag. I mean, I'm trans now. Hi. My pronouns are silly fag. Okay, let me get you guys over to this tab. So we're going to first, I guess, tonight, what do we got, ladies and gentlemen? The Destiny debate. We'll get into that first. Let's see what we got here. If we're going to learn anything, maybe Destiny ends up sucking this guy off at the end of the debate. You never know. We'll check this out. That could be really cool. God damn it, we got ads. Franklin up in here. Chris Enklin, his ox.
And a little work. And a little.
So for trans.
All right, guys, you ready? Come on, we're actually going to get in this debate. Ignore my fucking stupid. Ignore me in a wig. You guys know whose top this is? This is Maria Guatemala's top. Someone message her and tell her Dark Match Steve is live wearing your top like a little slut on his stream. So I don't know, guys. We'll get through some of this debate. If I get a little bored or you guys get bored, tell me. I'll do some twerking for you. I'll pop a titty out for you if you need. And then after this isn't that long of a debate. This is under an hour. So after this, we are going to watch Alex Stein infiltrate that trans, which, you know, I, as a trans person, I say he's allowed to go. So it's not really infiltrating if you're invited. But he infiltrates some kind of trans protest thing or something. I don't know. So we'll check that out after this.
Trans women competing with cis women in sports. How you doing?
Oh, so yeah, and I think this, yeah, okay. Look at the fucking title here. It's a lot of this is about trans sports and objective truth. Ooh, this should get juicy. I'm gonna be wet. I'm going to have to change my panties before the end of this stream.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Okay. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Oh,
You start.
Okay. Okay. I'm a college dropout. Okay. I've never taken any formal philosophy. So when I'm asking this, I'm not trying to little bro or be an asshole. I'm just curious. Do you have any formal philosophy background at all?
Not in graduate school. There's required like media studies, and then they examine it through the lens of philosophers. But I wouldn't say I was specializing in philosophy.
Okay, cool. Just checking. All right. Okay. The one issue that I run into sometimes when I see people talk about certain issues is there's a phrase that will get tossed around sometimes, and it's this phrase objective truth or objective scientific truth. And I feel like when people utter this phrase, the phrase is a lot.
you bet I fill the bottom out well, fat pig? Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to see? I am wearing a thong right now. I thought it would help me get into character a little more, and it's not. Now I'm just sitting here wearing a thong. But who am I kidding? I like it.
Stronger, I think, epistemically than some people realize, as in there's a lot of stuff being asserted there, and you don't need to assert that much stuff to have a particular argument. And I think that the ground that somebody is standing on is a lot less firm than they think when they assert that. And sometimes I feel like people will assert things and they'll call them like objective truths as a way to kind of like axiomatically brush over where legitimate disagreement can exist. As in somebody will say like, oh, well, I believe A, and someone will say, I believe B, and someone will go, well, actually A is objective truth. And I was like, oh, well, in that case, I guess if you've defined it as such, then I guess it's over. And I guess that's my main frustration with phrases like when people bring up like objective truth, basically. And then we can branch off from there or launch from there, or you can say something if you want, yeah.
No, I think that's fair. I don't disagree with any of that.
Now, before we get started, guys, this is one of the things that I've always, I don't know, with the trans stuff, I've actually been somewhat, I feel like I'm slightly sympathetic to both, well, I'm sympathetic to both sides of this argument, okay? My mind isn't exactly made up on the trans bathroom stuff. Now, do I like the thought of, oh, women's spaces are now going to be invaded by people that at least some women feel is not another woman? You know, there's going to be people in the bathrooms that some women will be uncomfortable with because they question the validity of their womanhood, all of that. I feel a little retarded right now. I can't really read the chat well with these glasses, but I see Kevin Gable is up in here and Cracker Chris. What's up? Show you a tit. I'm actually, I'm worried, guys, if I pop a nipple out because I'm trans for tonight. So if I pop a titty out, will I be in trouble because technically I'm a woman that just showed her breast? My voluptuous breast? Will I get in trouble? I'm actually not sure if I should do that. Show us your clam? I know I can't do that. All right. Oh, what was I going to say? Yeah. So I don't know about... Guys, for real, what would you think? What some of these trans people are at least passing enough that you end up in a strange predicament where, unless you're going to straight up just tell people how they have to dress, which is one of the sort of philosophical routes that Andrew Wilson goes down when he says, yes, there should be obscenity laws. That way, men can't dress as women and they just go to the bathroom for the gender that they were born as. Okay? Because it's like if you have someone like me, you say, okay, well, we're going to pass a law that men are only allowed to use the men's restroom and be in men's spaces, and vice versa for women. Biological. You have to be a biological man or woman to use a man or woman's space. So there are people that are walking around, if you can believe it, looking more convincing as the opposite gender than I do right now. And that would mean that there are men, technically what were born biological men who are trans women, would be forced to use the men's bathroom. So you have, this is like a situation where you have to choose, okay, well, which people do you want to make uncomfortable? Are you gonna the trans women that were born men? Are you gonna make the men uncomfortable or the women uncomfortable because there's someone that looks like a woman that's in the men's restroom, or there's someone dressed as a woman but we're pretty sure it's a man in the women's restroom? Which do you want? And vice versa. Think of the women that go trans into men, and some of them are convincing, and then you pass a law that they have to use the women's restroom, but then it's going to be a fucking someone that looks like a man. There are definitely people that look more manly than me that are actually trans men that were women, and you're going to force them to use the fucking women's restroom, like Buck Angel, for instance. That's like a go-to example for this thought experiment here. So it's like you end up forcing a certain person to use a certain restroom, and or regardless, someone's going to be uncomfortable. Boo-hoo. Okay? I don't know why. Just imagine me before I was trans like I am tonight. I know I'm trans for tonight and probably forever, but I'm turning trans tonight, okay? Anyway, you get it. But I don't know why, as a man, I'd have to go into men's restrooms. And, like, why is it even a fucking thing that we have to, like, piss where you can see other men's genitals possibly easily? I don't see, if people are using the restroom, why would it even matter who the fuck, like, if can't we have private spaces in restrooms so it doesn't matter who the fuck walked in there? That's what I feel like my lazy go-to solution is. Why the fuck are restrooms built in a way that it makes it possible that someone could see my genitals, and or I might actually accidentally or purposefully get a glimpse of someone else's genitals? I don't know. Okay, but then the Andrew Wilson answer, as I said before, he answers this question by saying, oh, well, we used to have obscenity laws and we should bring back obscenity laws. So that would make it to where if you are biologically a man and you dress as a woman, that's illegal and you're not allowed to do that. So it would force you to dress as a man. And then we'd also force you to use the men's restroom. Therefore, you would look like a man going into the men's restroom, not make any men uncomfortable, not make any women uncomfortable. So let's go down this road here with Destiny and this fucking guy. I don't even know if these guys already know that they disagree with something because they were fighting on Twitter. I don't know. That's how a lot of these debates start out. Let's check it out.
And I think when I made that first kind of analysis of one of your responses, that's what intrigued me, was the pattern that I'm seeing, not necessarily with you, but with a lot of people that we're encountering today, where one person in the debate is making the claim that the fabric of reality, which is what I'm referring to with objective truth, we'll get into that with like biological truth and all that, but either being malleable or not existing.
God damn it.
Big ideas.
You better let that baby choose its gender. I don't know what this commercial's for, but you better let that baby choose its gender.
Easy. But when you get one...
All right.
And there's a deeper kind of concern around that. So that's kind of what the lens I've been looking at it through. But keep going. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said yet.
Sure. Okay, and then I agree that that's a thing that is concerning to a lot of people. That I think that when the obvious example, you've seen like The Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen The Matrix. What's going on in the chat? I can barely read you guys. Show your balloon knot, the fat pig. We're going to save that for after hours, okay? So so far you're convincing me that you're a woman. Good. That's what I'm going for. Kevin Gable, why would we go to the restroom to see your genitals when you show them all the time for free and it doesn't have to be in a men's or a women's restroom, bro? I don't know where you're seeing this stuff. I mean, I do have naughty pics on Twitter, but it's not on my main Twitter. My little balloon knot is out there if you guys want to actually look for it. And my penis, my testicles, and my balloon knot. Hey, hot stuff, where's DMS? I sucked him off. And then he's taking a nap now. I made him a sandwich. And he's taking a nap. All right, let's get back to the debate.
That if you think that you're on very firm ground when it comes to reality, and then somebody challenges something that you consider like this is like beyond reproach, you can't challenge this thing, right? Like, is my whole world a fabrication that robots are putting in front of me, right? That kind of thing is deeply troublesome, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Now, obviously, I would make the argument that in some cases it's good to make those challenges because it shows you that, when I say you, I don't mean you, it shows a person that, oh, well, actually, this is a thing that you're taking for granted, and it could be a different way, which is always good to be aware of. And then in other ways, there are probably bad challenges here that people are doing for more heinous reasons, either intellectually dishonest ones that are just leading to, you could say, sophistry, like bad philosophical arguments, or they're doing it for political reasons because they just want to make certain political arguments. So an example of both might be, I'm not trying to politically charge anyone one way or another, but somebody might say something like, oh, I think the Nazis were just pure evil. And somebody else might say, well, actually, the Nazis were normal humans like you and me, and it's good to understand what it would take to make somebody think something like that. Like, that would be kind of like challenging some notion that somebody has, like, well, I could never be this thing. It's like, well, maybe you could be. You could be a slave owner, you could have been a Nazi, you could have been who knows, right? That's a good challenge. And then maybe like a bad fact might be somebody saying like, oh, well, gay men are just like always going to be child molesters. And it's like, well, that fact, I don't know if that's so much as rooted as any sort of real observation or any sort of like good philosophical argument, more than it's just somebody's putting this forward because they obviously don't like gay people and they just want to be, you know, anti-gay for whatever reason. Yeah. Okay.
Some are, though, right? Remember that gay couple? Remember the gay couple, those gay white guys that adopted two little white boys and they were doing stuff to their buttholes?
Yeah, no, I agree, because that's what's
It happens.
going to occur if we accept that whatever objective truth is beyond our reach. It's what we're striving for through science or objective understandings. But it's not, we don't necessarily have it, but it is there regardless. It's what we're trying to map onto through knowledge. So there's definitely going to be the improvement of how we map onto that. So there's always room for a conversation. But that's different than sometimes when I'm encountering like Thaddeus Russell. I was messaging, I was like, that's the one that interests me the most because he does that so hardcore, where it's not just, it's dismissing the idea that there is an objective truth even beyond our reach. If that makes sense.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so do you want to get into a particular, I guess, what was the name you just referenced there? What?
Thaddeus Russell. I did a video with him on Joe Rogan. We could dive into that. Let's keep going with this though, and kind of like consolidate whatever disagreement we have around that last video. That seems to be grounded in what we're talking about. Sure.
So I guess broadly speaking, there obviously this huge meme question. It was a meme online for a while, and then the Daily Wire did a thing off of it. The "what is a woman" thing. I think that when you're looking at gender or sex, and you're looking for the contents of what those ideas are, I think when you talk about like ontology or like categories and the information, the content that they have, I think there's actually a ton of really fascinating questions that you can ask about like what a particular thing is. So an example of that might be a long time ago, there was a lake, and that lake contained something called water, and people had an understanding of what water was, of some properties of it, of some things you could do with it, that you needed it for nourishment, obviously. Well, now in the future, we might refer to water as H2O. We have a chemical formula for it. When we say water today, and we're knowingly referring to H2O, in the past, when we said water and we were referring to a thing that might not have always been pure H2O. We had no understanding of atomic.
Vosh said it's called agua. Agua.
Like physics or anything like that at all, or chemistry or anything like that at all. Are we referring to the same thing, or are we referring to different abstractions of a thing? I think that's a deeply interesting question. It gets into some like really interesting areas of ontology or metaphysics. And I think that when it comes to gender and sex, I think that similar questions can be asked, such as like when you say like a man or a woman, you define it by like chromosomes or whatever. That could be a way that you define it. But if you go back 1,000 years, nobody knew what a chromosome was, but we still had this identity of like man and woman. And so are we referring to the same thing? Were we just slightly less correct before and now we're more correct? Or have we refined our definition in a way that...
Yeah, so this is a good point, and I've mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on stream or I did a different video. I think I mentioned this on stream, that Ben Shapiro made this fucking point that we've always identified people based on their genetics, which was just bizarre. I think I saw him say this in a debate or some shit. And that's not even true. I mean, we've only known about genetics for a while. So this does lead you to the question like, okay, well, now we have like a more strict definition. How is the word has been used for how many thousands of years before we even knew about fucking genetics?
It's changed it. Yeah, I don't know. I think all these things are worth discussing. I think there's two huge issues sometimes that pops up. One is I think that there are people that confuse, and I feel like I think I would probably charge you with this. I think sometimes people will view something as being a social construct, or people will view something as being like a human-created, mind-dependent category, and they'll confuse that with it being arbitrary or worthless. It's just like whatever. So like I would argue, for instance, that like the universal category of sex, that is a mind-dependent thing, that if every human being were wiped out on the planet, the category of sex wouldn't exist, but the underlying content of it would still exist. So you'd still have like things that we call males, things that we call females, like you'd still have dicks and vaginas and things that reproduce in a certain way. Yeah.
Well,
Although I will say, just as a real quick, as a real quick thing on the second thing, there are people though, they're not as common anymore. There are people who do use it in an arbitrary manner, where they'll say something like, oh, well, a man or a woman can be literally anything. Or like the entire concept of, for instance, of self-ID, you are what you identify as, is literally self-defeating and stupid, because then anybody could be anything that's dumb. So there are some people that use it in a bad way, but then I think sometimes the response to that is a little bit too aggressive in the other direction, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the semantic level of how we're mapping onto that objective truth. So you're absolutely right that language is a social construct. It's how we are, what we've agreed upon to reflect that objective truth, which requires that objective truth to exist. So yeah, we could, the argument that, well, woman, it's a term we made up, okay, but the underlying what we're mapping onto, which is what we refer to as the biological, when we say the biological truth of what we agreed upon, that what does that represent? It's biologically. So
yeah, so I don't think I necessarily disagree with that per se. I think it only bothers me. I guess I'm kind of repeating myself. Is that whenever somebody entertains this conversation, it feels like sometimes there's a group of people that think they can shut it down very quickly and easily by saying something like the most common thing I hear is when somebody's like, oh, what is a woman? Somebody says, oh, well, it's an adult human female. And it's like, okay, well, if you're using female to define woman, I feel like we're in the land of tautology at this point. Like you're defining a thing with a synonym. It doesn't seem like it's doing a very good job at that. Not to say that like, well, a woman or a man could be anything. I feel like sometimes it's a shortcut. And then when I see certain people discussing a topic, it feels like the topic is being held hostage by politics or social prescription rather than underlying, I guess, analysis or understanding of any kind of truthful statement, I guess. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Sure, there's definitely the potential for that. I'm trying to think the example. I was trying to remember the example that you used in that conversation with the we're disproving the rule because there's an exception.
Oh, I don't believe that. I think that's really dumb. I don't.
Okay.
Oh no, wait. Oh wait, I don't think so. I'm sorry. So there's a smaller kid there who I think was literally 16. I don't find all of his ideas. So some rules can be disproven by exceptions, and other rules, an exception never proves a rule. I don't know where that idea came from, unless there's some logic that I'm unfamiliar with. But there can be some rules that can be disproven by exceptions, and I think that kid might have given an example of one. So if I say, for instance, we're working in a binary system, and I see the number 2 pop up, well, we're not in binary anymore. Something else must be happening, right? So that would break that rule.
Yeah, that's a more accurate analogy than what he was saying. So like if we were to say human beings are born with 5 fingers, well, some people are born without 5 fingers, but biologically speaking, is it accurate? Is it valid to say that human beings have 5 fingers? Even though there's not potential for that. The other one that you used that was interesting was if a woman has spikes on her hand. I get the analogy there, but it's still, that analogy is claiming, okay, we can use common sense to dissect these social conversations, but the problem is that the analogy is that these biological spikes are what's causing the unfair. It's so common sense. We could see these spikes would make it so that it wouldn't be fair for them to compete, but that's mapping onto what immutable characteristics born through biology still. So still.
This is way more, semantics, teasing apart, fucking, I mean, I don't know what I expected. I wanted to see more mudslinging. I wanted to see one of these guys call each other a fucking Nazi or something. That's what I wanted. But no, this does raise interesting questions. I mean, for one, the most obvious question is like, okay, well, there are people with, as he's saying, like, can you say, okay, humans have 5 fingers on each hand, and someone goes, oh, well, my cousin was actually born without his pinky, so is he not a human? And it's like, okay, so I mean, but how many instances of these, if you want to call them mutations or whatever, and apply this same logic to when we're talking about gender and even genetics relating to that? There's XX and XY, but there's all kinds of like different there's probably literally infinite kinds of fucking genetic mutations that would, in most cases you'd say that's an outlier or something, but what percentage do we actually need of people being born with an actual genetic difference from the norm to where you would say, okay, well, I guess gender is technically like a spectrum, but the instances of people falling in these certain areas of the spectrum are just incredibly, incredibly rare. And then how much, again, this is where I normally go with this, how much of this is actually anthropomorphic? Like how much is human or epigenetic? Fucking, I mean, we talked about this 100 times. There's fucking xenoestrogens and every fucking thing you put in your body. Pretty much everything we're exposed to in the 21st century is fucking xenoestrogens. You get a little bit with every little thing you interact with. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the food. You drink a soda, okay, there's 3 different kinds of xenoestrogens in that. You're practically growing a pussy already and you don't even know it. You're losing sperm cells. Oh, Maria Guatemala's in here. I'm wearing your top. You remember this? You gave this to me. Thanks, girl.
Going back to biology.
Yeah, it is. I just think it's good to analyze sometimes. Like when we look at women's sports, like what's the
Bob Cook, go fuck yourself. Maria, no way in hell that looks better on him. You fill it out perfectly. I see someone wants to get banned from my chat. Look at this transphobe, Bob Cook. Fucking bullshit. Looks better on him. Thank you, Maria. Well, I mean, looks better on me, but you just misgendered me. So there's that. That was kind of a backhanded compliment. I'm going to be banning a lot of people from my chat tonight. I can tell. You guys are being naughty. Oh, Rainy's up in here. What's up, Rainy? Oh, I didn't even notice the shirt. What shirt? I got a fucking bikini top on. And I am feeling very slutty tonight. You guys might see a nipple pop out. My little trans nipple. All right, come on. Quit distracting me from this debate. I can barely keep up. This is way more philosophical than I want. I just wanted to talk about crazy stuff and maybe, glory holes in the bathrooms or something like that. I thought we were going to get a little bit hot in here. Wet my chair.
point of the category? It seems like the point of the category is that there is a group of people that we want to have athletic representation for, and therefore we've created this category called women's sports. We do it for small people as well. It's called weight classes, right? So we have like different, and there's different types of like fighting and everything depending on the weight class. But like we have weight classes as well to protect certain heights of people or body builds or weights of people as well. And I think the issue that I come into a lot when it comes to, I'll warn you that I'm probably an outsider here, so I don't think any other progressive would ever say this because for whatever fucking reason. So personally, I don't.
Weight classes. That's where you learn about all the different weights. There's a bunch of different weights. There's barbell weights. There's dumbbell weights. There's kettlebell weights.
I don't think it matters about the quote unquote fairness in terms of should trans people be allowed to compete in a sport. I think it's more just like, well, we have to analyze why the category is created, and would letting a trans person compete in the category like destroy the reason for that category? And so in my opinion, the answer is yes. If you have a category created to protect cisgender women who wouldn't be able to compete with somebody with a I guess, male biology, then allowing trans women to compete there seems to break that, the same way that a woman with spikes for hands would probably break that. So you probably just wouldn't have that person competing because it would break the category. But like my analysis can start and stop there without me.
Like Wolverine. What if there was some woman born like Wolverine? You could just kill women in MMA.
Having to moralize like my attacking all of like biology or my fundamental understanding of the universe or anything like that. That's what I meant when I said like we can engage in the analysis and do like I think like a good faith pursuit of these underlying categories without having to like morally load or normatively load every single statement we make.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. The challenge it's a bit more complicated, I think, because we can't necessarily identify why the classifications exist. It's also for the sake of the competition. So.
Oh, my back is sore, guys. It's probably because of my big tits. My back is just so sore from carrying these fucking huge melons. These fucking goddamn big ass tits.
Boxing, they divide men into different weight classes. Safety. There's going to be multiple reasons.
They're so big, they're sore.
So it doesn't reduce down to a singular reason. That would be my only response to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree. There's going to be a multiple amount of reasons, but it's important to understand what those reasons are, because none of those reasons have anything to do with self-ID. Like none of those reasons.
But regardless of those reasons, we can still, even if the change introduces safety hazards, even if that doesn't correlate to we were separating them by weight class for the sake of competition as well. If we're suddenly introducing this complication, I don't think it necessarily has to map onto the category. We could recognize, which with your spike analogy.
I was agreeing with you. I'm saying that if we say that we've created this category for women, we didn't create it just to have it so that whatever IDs as a woman is suddenly allowed to compete, right? It's like that. Have you ever seen the movie Air?
Yes, we did. I am going to start women's sports. What do you guys think I'd be good at? I could probably kick a woman's ass, a biological woman. I could kick the fuck out of I don't want to. Maybe just a little bit, but not. I don't really want to do it that badly, but I could.
Bud.
A long time ago.
A dog can't play basketball. You couldn't put like a zebra in the court and be like, oh, well, look, the zebra identifies as a woman, so now they can play. Right? Obviously, this breaks. This is dumb. Right. So yeah, I think understanding where the categories are from, why they're created, and what it works as, and we can think of like real life things too. Even like I'm sure there's like a disease that causes you to mature incredibly fast. We probably wouldn't let this person compete in like grade school or high school sports either. If it was a 9-year-old with the physiology of like an 18-year-old, we would say this is not. Or if you get held back, 5 years, we're not going to have a 19-year-old dunking on 13 or 14-year-olds,
Sure. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Okay. Yeah. Wait. What else? Do you have any other things in particular, or?
I didn't see I know you did some response video. I haven't seen it. So if there's anything in there that you think I misrepresented or I oversimplified.
I'm curious.
Guys, my thong is so tight I can barely think straight. Beard. Excuse you. I don't know why you're calling me out like this. I know you're probably thinking, if he's really, or she, if she is really trans, why wouldn't I take the time to just shave my beard? Well, you never know. I might change my mind about this in about an hour and go back to being cisgender. So I want to leave myself open to different options. We're keeping the beard for now.
So when you say like objective scientific truth, can you describe, like, give me some understanding what you mean when you say that statement?
Yeah, it's that separate from us that we're striving for, that exists independent of any social construct. It's what we would say science, mathematics is trying to understand. Simple as that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I'll rephrase it slightly, and I think we're on the same page. So we can say some things are like mind dependent, like Harry Potter doesn't exist if all humans are dead, right? And then there are some things that are probably going to exist, hopefully, even if every single human is wiped out. So like a book with Harry Potter, the story in it, or a book will exist even if every human being is wiped out. There's some underlying matter there that exists regardless of any humans to observe it or organize it, right?
Right. Someone left an interesting comment on that video claiming that when you say truth, you're talking it's more semantic in exchanges, and they use the example of, if we're playing catch, is it true to say that they're throwing the ball back and forth and they're playing catch?
I've never read Harry Potter. I can't keep up with this conversation.
The problem I think we run into is that we've seen debates. Sam Harris, Jordan Peterson debated just the word truth for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So to simplify that down, because an arrow can fly true, a statement can be true. But so when we're talking about objective truth, I think we're getting closer to like biological truth. So the problem is this gets into a semantic conversation, but as long as we kind of understand what we're laying out here.
Yeah. So I would argue that philosophy and psychology run into this issue where they use a lot of the same words that we use in common parlance. A really great example of this is like depression, right? Like having major depressive disorder is significantly different than just feeling depressed. Or a true statement is a lot different than in epistemology, like having a theory of truth, like justified true belief or some other kind of like theory of truth. So I think the semantic part is important to declare the boundaries of like, what is the conversation about, Yeah,
I would say that in that example, I don't think that would be objectively true, saying this psychological condition is worse, because to some people it might be worse, it might not be. It might be a valid statement. So that video with the student with J.K. Rowling,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even claim that it's true that J.K. Rowling is not transphobic. It's more, is that a valid conclusion based upon the evidence that you can provide? But it's not objectively true because I can't account for everything that she said. Does that make sense?
It's kind of true. True. So I think the issue there, like there are different types of truths that we can talk about.
Yeah.
So like, for example, it's kind of funny when you talk about like defamation law and everything, you get into some of this as well, right? If I say like Warren punched me in the face, like that's a statement that you could take me to court for if you hadn't punched me in the face, because I'm defaming you, I'm lying. It's an actionable statement. It's something that clearly reduces to a true or false. It can be clearly observed in the universe. But if I were to say something like Warren is a huge, big, meanie asshole, right? You can never take me to court for that because it's an opinion, right? You can't prove that one way or another. I'm allowed to have that opinion. But I think there are different types of truths, and in 99% of human conversations, it doesn't matter because people will automatically intuit what the context is. But it gets harder when we start to bring in philosophy, because now we're, again, like I said, we're trying to invoke much firmer ground than what we're actually standing on. And sometimes these truths can be quite different from each other. So, for instance, when we say the difference between like a truth in physics or chemistry and a truth in math, I would say that these are significantly different types of truths. So, for instance, math is a system that is built on, if I say axiom, do you know what an axiom is? Basically
premised within a logical argument.
Kind of, yeah. An axiom is a statement. I wouldn't say necessarily premise, because a premise could be wrong, but in a way it is. Yeah, it's a statement that's asserted as true, and you can't attack it. You just start with that axiom, right? But starting with that axiom, and all of math, I think the current set of axioms, I think comes from set theory. The abbreviation is ZFC. It's like Zermelo-Francus set theory or some bullshit. But all of math is constructed off of axioms. So when we say a mathematical statement is true or false, what we're really saying is it's true or false insofar as it comports with our mathematical axiomatic truths. Now,
or knowledge.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even necessarily say knowledge. I would just say that like if I construct a theory that says A equals 1 and B equals 2 and C equals 3, then if I say A plus B equals C, that's an objectively true, the strongest type of true statement that could ever be made. But does it say anything about reality? I mean, I could try to like make it say something about reality, but that statement is a lot different than saying that like hydrogen is a single electron, proton, neutron atom or whatever, right? I think they're getting at different types of things, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, all that to say that when somebody says, so for instance, somebody is transphobic, especially when you're arguing with progressives, probably the more important thing there isn't to argue over the body of evidence or whatever, but it's usually to find out what does somebody mean when somebody says somebody is transphobic. Because for a lot of people, somebody will say, if you don't think that trans women and cis women can compete at every level of athletics together in all places. If you don't believe that, then you're transphobic. Well, in that case, then you probably agree with the person insofar as their definitions. You're like, oh, okay, I guess J.K. Rowling is transphobic. There's probably a whole bunch of transphobic people. But then the argument there isn't over whether or not the person is transphobic. The argument should be over the definition of their word of transphobic, or whether or not they've defined it correctly. Basically,
Yeah.
Transphobic is anyone that does not currently have an erection from looking at me right now on this stream. Bunch of fucking bigots. Is that Slash or Dark Match Steve? Sometimes at my job, I'm forced to listen to Guns N' Roses, and because it comes up on some fucking stupid playlist, okay? They actually changed the music up today. It's a different playlist, so now I don't have to listen to Guns N' Roses. Thank God, because number one, Axl Rose is probably the worst vocalist that there's ever been. And then number two, Slash is probably my least favorite guitarist that I've ever fucking heard. I don't know. Whoa, new look, yes. Very new look. Well, I'm trans now. When I remove my penis, I'm going to auction it off. So start saving your money.
In Aristotelian, what you're referring to sounds like Aristotelian logic, whereas statements can be true, but the argument in which those statements occur, the axioms, are invalid. Which is, so you make an important point there. I get what you mean.
Mm-hmm. The only reason I bring this up again is because as soon as like philosophy is invoked, we can get into areas where, because like there are things that you say in your videos where if you were just using like softer language, and I don't mean soft as in nice, but like if you were to say something like, so for trans women competing with cis women in sports, you can have whatever social feeling you want about equity and inclusion and all of that, but that doesn't change the fact of the matter that a trans woman who's gone through a male puberty will always be conferred certain biological advantages. And that's going to be true almost universally no matter what.
What are you saying, Adam? I'm listening to a gay man trying to explain how he is smarter than anyone he speaks to. Who, Destiny or me? I feel sorry for Destiny. Why do you feel sorry for him? He's smart. He's rich. I think he's bisexual, actually. He must be because he has a child or he had a son. I don't know. Is his son 18 now? I don't even know. But anyway, yeah, he has a son and he fucks and sucks whoever he wants.
And that's a statement that is very, very, very hard to disagree with, almost impossible to disagree with. But
I think I said that.
Kind of, but there's a slight difference when you say something like that, like you can't escape like the biological truth that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's an objective scientific truth. When we say things like objective scientific truth, I think we're invoking like huge bodies of philosophy. It's almost like importing a library. We're bringing in way more powerful statements, I think. That's where I start to have an issue with it. And it might not be an issue for you only doing that, but then the issue will carry over to, let's say somebody's having a debate or an argument over, well, what is a man or what is a woman or what defines the difference between these two? Well, somebody will take that same argument before and go, oh, well, it's objective scientific truth that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. It's like, well, hold on, you're just defining it with itself. And now we can't have that conversation because we've been so semantically kind of mixed up before.
Right, we're moving back into the semantics of it, but I would argue that doesn't reflect at all upon the objective truth itself, objective reality, which is what we're trying to map onto. And if you can provide a better mapping of how to map onto that, then go for it. But when we're talking about biology, something like Richard Dawkins, that is
Jolly Holly, welcome. I'm a woman now. Welcome.
the best explanation we have been able to. I mean, that's the reason he describes the poetry of reality. That's what he's interested in through biology.
Yeah, and I would hope that most.
I'm working with a doctor who is putting me on all kinds of drugs so that I'll grow my own tits, and he's gonna cut my penis off, and we're gonna auction it.
Scientists are trying to model some aspect of reality. It's typically what we do with science, because the better we understand it, the better we can manipulate it. It's just frustrating when that vocabulary then gets weaponized in other areas where it might not necessarily be as important. So for instance, men and women, or trans women and women, like say showering together or having some shared bathroom or whatever.
That sounds hot. Hey, can we put in the chat, how much would you pay for my penis when I cut it off? How much would you pay for it if we did auction it off? Don't be afraid of insulting me or something. I mean, if it's like $3 or something, it's okay. Just I'm trying to get a gauge here.
Well, in this arena, it might be a different consideration that we make than we would make it like in an athletic arena, to where I would say that there are strong arguments in athletic arenas to not have trans women and cis women competing with each other. But I would say when it comes to bathrooms, I think there are strong arguments in exactly the opposite direction. They would probably be less like socially unnerving to have Blair White go into a woman's restroom, even though she's a trans woman, as opposed to having Buck Angel go into a woman's restroom.
Here we go, guys. Buck Angel. He's the go-to. How would you feel? Your wife goes to the restroom and there's Buck Angel walking into a stall and your wife clutches her purse and starts hyperventilating. You ready for that?
Even though he's a trans man, yeah. But if somebody were to invoke like the objective scientific truth semantic and they were to bring that over to the bathroom one, well, now that...
My drag name? Well, that is a completely unrelated question to tonight's show because I'm actually trans. I've transitioned. Drag is different, but my drag name is Ariel Man. Get it? It's a pun. Ariel Man.
Conversation is being held hostage by the incredibly strong language used in the other argument. I guess is my issue, yeah?
It could. And moving into that sort of debate, the problem I'm seeing, and I try and take it, the problem I'm seeing is that tomorrow, if I can decide that I'm a woman, and now, I guess it would be under the law.
Every good drag name is a pun or something fun.
If I am now treated as a woman in all these spaces, because you're talking about differentiating bathroom spaces from the showering spaces or whatnot, the problem is that how are we going to approach that through the level of policy? Because where the rubber meets the road is the policy, which I would guess how we legally approach this. So if I tomorrow I'm a woman and now I have access to all these spaces and you can't feel uncomfortable, you can't question that, you can't tell me to leave. And that's the problem that I haven't heard anyone address. Yeah, so these debates.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a huge problem. But I think that I think it just has to start from a better like semantic ground where like everybody's using a very clear understanding of the words. And I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm literally permabanned from Twitch over trans-related sports stuff. So I mean, like, I'm obviously sympathetic towards these arguments here. It's just when we invent new things or when we have more like fleshed out ways of understanding things, then our definitions just slightly change over time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So for instance, our definition of man or woman now is going to have more content than the definitions that people might have used a long time ago. For instance, we can identify things like chromosomes. We never could have identified those before. We can imagine a world, it might sound kind of silly, but like earlier we spoke about weight classes for boxing, right? Well, what happens if Elon Musk gets everything he wants and we actually do build a civilization on Mars, okay? And on Mars, the gravity is, I think it's a little bit weaker than Earth. Well, if we had boxers going between Mars and Earth, well, now when we talk about weight classes, we would have an extra qualifier. We'd say the weight class is this many pounds on Earth or this many pounds on Mars. We wouldn't be able to use the same weight class for both because it'd be slightly different depending on which planet they were on. It's kind of a goofy example, but like same thing when it comes to like bathrooms or locker rooms. Well, now if we're considering trans people, we just have to go back and understand why do we have this category? Why do we have this separation? And is the separation still served by the two categories? So in the example of weight, having a 100 pound or 200 pound, like a 100 pound featherweight class, that's not served well if you can weigh different amounts on different planets, right? So we would have to clarify, well, hold on, we mean Earth weight versus Martian weight. And then same thing with the trans stuff. If we have like showers for trans women and cis women, well, are the bathrooms served well by having all women, including trans women there? Yeah, sure, they probably are. But what about like for sports? Here, probably not. So we do need the distinction of trans women versus cis women here, if that makes sense.
Yes, I mean, but when you're talking about how to organize sports on Mars, given the gravity difference, I think that's separate from the ramifications of
the bathroom thing. Guys, let me say on a serious note here, I know I look silly as fuck and no one should take me seriously at all tonight, but I just like the bathroom thing is fucking is weird to me. So it's reminiscent of the arguments of why marijuana should be illegal, right? To say Oh, what? We got Tampa Terry calling? Holy shit. Hold on. Let me bring up. I don't have my Instagram. Hold on, Tampa Terry. Hello. Tampa Terry.
Hey, how's it going, boss man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Adam Wiley is calling me on the other line. God damn it. Adam, hold on.
Well, hey, I'll make it quick, bro. I just wanted to give you a big shout out, man. You've been doing good streams lately, good shows lately. I tuned in a little late, bro. Can you get me up to speed? Get me up to date? What's with the new look, bro? I see you're kind of like more like a sexy Getty Lee almost from Rush.
Fuck yeah. That's a little too manly for me though. I prefer you say like I don't know. I look like Merch Crick or something. Like, oh yeah. I'm a little spinner. Yes, no, I'm trans, Tampa Terry. And tonight I figured since I was coming out as trans, we could cover all trans topics. And I'll just edge you guys the whole night, being a trans little slut twerking on here. That was my plan.
Well, if you're trans now, we immediately need to sign you up for every women's sports league that we can find.
Go ahead, Terry, but write my name down. Go sign me up. Go somewhere and pretend you're me and sign my name and just sign me up. I'll do it.
I have a feeling that you are about to dominate every women's recreational sports league in the Gulf of America of Florida.
I hope to, Terry. I want to beat Tuttle's title, right? What does he have? Like he's like 4-0 or so, or no, I think he got beat by one woman. I want to outdo Tuttle's record of the intergender champion. Even though I'm a real woman though now. I'm not. I mean, I consider myself a real woman. All it took, imagine that, Terry, all it took is popping on a wig and Maria Guatemala's top. But I'm a woman now.
Well, I respect your gender, and I am immediately going to help you in signing up for every women's sports league that we can find. And I see great things in your athletic future.
Oh, thank you, Terry. I really appreciate it. Yeah, bet your money on me. Maybe give me like 10% of your winnings or something. That'd be only fair.
Oh, wow. We're going to clean up on that. We'll go on some of those greasy cryptocurrency sports betting sites that bet on every single, rec league and little league game. And we'll just start putting you in those. And, if they complain about it, we'll send some of the Rainbow Warriors after them.
That sounds good. I'm ready to make some money, Terry, so I can quit streaming.
Let's get it. Well, hey, you're doing a good show, boss. I'm going to let you go, man. Have a good night. Keep it up, champ.
All right, Terry. Thank you, sir. God damn, I love me some Tampa Terry. Could y'all feel the sexual tension there? All right, Adam Wiley was just calling. What are you calling for? You want some phone sex or something? You got a big boner for me, Papa? Oh, sorry. Hold on. I got to you got to get you guys back to this tab with me.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
Okay. Just had to play that again.
There's no escaping that in the landscape that we're being presented right now. These problems are still going to occur. You could talk about how they're enforced around bathrooms as opposed to sports and everything, but that's not getting at I guess it's just a different way of viewing the issue.
Well, so like the argument that you just brought up there, in my opinion, so you didn't say anything about like objective scientific truth or anything like that, but without even saying that, I think that argument that you made was a very strong argument for why you can't have things like self-ID. It doesn't make sense to create a distinction if anybody can ID into the distinction. like definitionally that's stupid, right? Like if I say that, like, yeah, exactly. So like I think that's a strong argument against self-ID inclusion in what is definitionally an exclusionary category. So if we have sports versus women or sports for women, it wouldn't make sense to have sports for women as a protected category if anybody can ID as a woman. And I think that argument, right, I think that on its own is a defeater for somebody simply saying that self-ID is a valid way to enter a woman's category of sports, right?
Sure, it might be a better way to argue the point, but it doesn't.
No, that's a great point by our guy Destiny here. If you can say anyone can identify as a woman, then that automatically eliminates the category itself. Holyoke Joe's up in here. He claimed he billed at 305. Tampa Terry? DMS, is Terry better than you? In what ways? He's better at being Canadian than me, I'll give him that. He's also better at calling Bubba's show. Tampa Terry, you need to call Bubba's show again. I don't know what. It's been a while, I think, since Terry's called into Bubba's show.
It doesn't remove objective reality, is my only point.
Yeah, I agree. It's just I think the important thing is just identifying like what is the important, I guess, facet of objective reality that we're trying to talk about. And I don't think it has much to do with, I don't think it necessarily has to do, let me think about this for a second. The issue is that sometimes I think that arguments can be more complicated than they need to be, and I don't think we even have to invoke anything about objective reality, because the problem is the deeper you go epistemically, the more disagreements you could run into, but it's totally possible that there are disagreements that you never actually have to resolve because you can agree on some things otherwise, right? So like, for instance, people can be different religions, but believe like in different things about legal systems, right? Like I think it's immoral to, commit adultery, but I don't think it should be like illegal or something, right? You can have like that agreement, Okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sure, but if I say tomorrow I've decided to be a woman, the response would be, well, okay, well, what do you mean? Is that if I say, well, I am a woman, I mean, the question is, do you mean biologically? And so now it can pivot into objective reality.
Yes.
Very quickly. I guess that...
Well, even
that would be a silly question if I told this guy that I'm trans. He would, no, I'm not trans. If I told him I'm a woman, he wouldn't even have to ask what that means because it's very clear that I am a biological woman.
I say, like, even when you say that, so if somebody were to say that,
and a damn sexy one at that.
If somebody were to say I identify as a woman biologically, I think that belief would be worth interrogating, because then you could ask somebody, well, when you say. Because even if you follow that line of argumentation, there's a defeater for it based on how people call it like semantics, like it doesn't matter, but semantics are incredibly important. So running down this real quick, somebody would say, oh, I identify as a woman. You're like, hold on, you can identify biologically as a woman? They go, yes, actually, biologically I think I'm a woman. Oh, okay. Well, if you identify biologically as a woman, if we look at the category of women's sports, why do you think that category exists? Is it just for people that identify as a woman biologically, or do you think that category is supposed to invoke something more?
That category of sports exists so that I can win some games. That's what it's there for.
Say it's just for people that identify as a woman, then the obvious like Joker defeater is like, okay, well, tomorrow The Rock IDs as a woman. Would you allow him to compete in women's sports? If they say yes, I mean, like it's absurd. Then you just ignore them, you blow them off because this is dumb. Right?
He's not in my weight class. Let him play women's sports with us. Come on, we can all play.
But the person's eventually going to do something. Okay, fine. If I want to say that I identify something biologically, fine, whatever. But the way I'm using biologically there is different than how basically everybody else uses biologically, and I'm probably better suited to use a different word. Like you can argue there that your semantic distinction here is very poor. You shouldn't be using the term biologically here because now you're standing in opposition to how everybody else in society uses biologically, I would say.
Sure, I would say it's an invalid argument because I cannot identify biologically. My biology is independent of how I identify. So therefore, it's not a valid statement to make. You could say my gender identity is different. The problem is we're now making that leap and claiming that.
I mean, no.
You can
bigot.
I won't say that.
No,
that would be that seems
the line. So this line of dialogue that you're on, I think is infinitely stronger than just saying like objective scientific truth. When you start saying things like you can't self-ID biologically, there's no category that exists like that, save for categories that are created especially to self-ID, like a name. Some people say, well, you can ID as whatever name you want. Okay, sure, but definitionally, names are just things we call ourselves. But you logically defeat a category by saying anybody can identify as the category. There has to be content to the category. You can't just say I am a thing and now you suddenly are the thing. Because if that was true, then the thing itself would be meaningless, right? I think those are super strong arguments, and I think they're a huge defeater for any like self-ID argument, I would say.
I agree with you there. Yeah. I mean, I did that video on Professor Dave. Like, I'm genuinely trying to follow along, and I get what he's saying. Where we separate sex first from gender, but then we switch gender to gender identity. The problem is that gender identity, it's no longer you are a trans woman. No, it's now that you are a woman. So and people ask me, what do you mean people are trying to change the fabric of reality? Where is that occurring? And when it comes to that position, I would say, well, right there. Yeah.
So I think that, okay, so let me summarize your argument so I'm understanding your argument. So you're saying that your issue with him is he's drawing a distinction initially between biological sex and gender identity. And he's saying that your gender identity can be man or woman. And then he's saying, therefore, if a person identifies as man or woman, they can be referred to as man or woman. And you feel like it's making the boundaries between the sex gender distinction more hazy than they should be, basically?
Yeah, I think.
Ah!
Deep Eddy Vodka. Handcrafted with
I was sleeping for a second there. God damn it, the ad woke me up.
real fruit.
His argument is going to lead to
Trying to get a little nap in here, guys.
inevitable problems when we don't allow for that third category to exist, trans man, trans woman. Rather than now we're making it know they are a woman, and some people are even claiming like biologically. So not everyone's going to do that. So don't be surprised when people like J.K. Rowling are going to push back on that idea. And there's a lot of other problems that stem out of this. We had the changing room, the mother with the 6-year-old. Does she have a role, a choice in what occurs around that 6-year-old? That's my only.
Yeah. So I would.
Yeah, that's how I would respond to that. It's.
So I would caution the other person. I guess it would be in this case is Professor Dave in making like a forward movement here. So I would say that, like, for instance, the category distinction of like we can agree there's some difference. There must be some difference between trans woman and cis woman. I think we both agree with that, right? Obviously there is. I think everybody in reality would agree with that. There's some distinction between trans woman and cis woman. However,
according to their definitions, yeah.
Yeah. However, in ordinary society, we typically would just identify somebody as a woman or a man because usually we don't have enough information to come to the conclusion of if they're cis or trans, right? Like we're not genital checking or chromosome checking everybody, right? So like in that case, if somebody was arguing that in terms of social distinctions, we would probably just call trans women and trans men because that's just typically how we ID each other, through how we look at each other and everything. I think that's okay. But then I would agree with you here, and it's an argument I get into with I used to get into with a lot of like super progressive people. You just have to be careful that you don't take this argument because now when you're starting to blur the line between your biological underlying, what you would call biological objective truth, I would refer to like your underlying content of what fills the category of man and woman biologically. If you start to blur those boundaries, you start to get into ridiculous worlds where like trans women on Twitter are, tweeting that they're having periods and stuff. And it's like, this is fucking retarded. And something is obviously not correct here. Yeah.
Another interesting point around Professor Dave's is that his
Holyoke Joe, what are you talking about? DMS marks out to Tampa Terry, so that must mean Terry is above him. First off, you misgendered me, so I'm not even going to acknowledge that. DMS obviously doesn't think that highly of me or the fat pig. The fat pig and I bother DMS. He can't handle our level of support. You misgendered me again. That's how you get blocked, Holyoke Joe. Keep coming in here with them fucking pronouns.
His argument was that this is grounded in biology, that you can scan the brain. I'm trying to make sure I understand this correctly, but then I've had
It's ma'am.
different responses claiming that was proven invalid, so I'm not quite sure what to think on this. So if anyone has any additional information, but his claim is that you can scan the brain of someone who identifies differently, and you will see that literally physically in the biology. Therefore, it's grounded in biology.
Well, so
but obviously, in some cases, possibly.
I would be careful about any statements about grounded in biology because necessarily, as biological beings, literally every single thing, arguably, depending on if you're an epistemic anti-realist or not, arguably even like logical, anything is grounded in biology because as humans, we're the ones who have invented things like logic, right? Technically. So I would be very careful if somebody makes the argument that this is grounded in biology, you can say literally everything. Schizophrenia is grounded in biology. Everything is grounded in biology.
All right. You know what? I'm over this debate. We're going to check out Alex Stein. You want to watch the rest of it? Go to Destiny's channel. Subscribe. Hit the like button. And send him pictures of your D. Oh, that's my video. Oops. Here we go. I would like to watch the rest of that debate, but we're running out of time, guys. It's already 8:30, and I got to get this video in here. Wait, how long is this video? It's not as long as I thought.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I don't. We'll see. Maybe we'll go back to the debate. We got to get our Stein in here. This is half the reason I've got a full-blown female boner right now for Stein. You think now that I'm a woman, Stein would put his penis inside of me?
Gentlemen, I know what you're seeing is a little different than usual. Today, you're not getting the world's greatest debater, Charlie Kirk. Instead, you're getting the world's greatest libtard debater, Dynasty. I play video games every single day, and Minecraft has taught me how to freaking eat these conservatives for freaking breakfast. So let's get it on.
Dynasty. Instead of Destiny, I guess. That's good.
About to change and in bed with these freaks, Project Veritas style. Tap in, baby. Dynasty.
We are not freaks.
About to make it rain. In order to embed covertly with these freaks, I brought on my freaking bodyguard. That's right, Danny Saint. Danny, give me the outfit change. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on these clothes.
Why does he keep calling us freaks? We're not freaks. We just constantly think about our genitals to the point that we end up wanting to chop them off and alter them and go in the wrong restroom and stuff. That's all.
Clothes. Hold this real quick. We got to kind of block me. It's hard to put on these damn shirts. All right. Every libtard looks the same. Blue hairspray. Dynasty's coming for your ass. Better watch out. Be incognito.
Dude, that is funny. He looks like Destiny now. I like when Destiny had the blue hair. I did.
I have no idea. They'll never see this coming, folks. This is how you truly blend in. You see this? Looks like this has been opened before. That's not good. But still, that's fine. See, this is a high-class vape. Oh, that's disgusting. Yo, this is Dynasty's campus now.
Motherfucker, Stein likes vaping now. This is just an excuse for him to get into a character that vapes.
That's right. Dynasty is here on campus. I'm here to expose these libtards. Oh, wait. I am a libtard. Do I look libtarded? Free Palestine. That's right. We love transgenders. Free gender reassignment surgery. That's right. I love Kamala. Kamala Harris is the most talented woman I know. She's so great. I wish she was president. You see this campus? These are my people.
Do I have this sped up still? I do.
I stand with you.
Especially affect racialized minorities or anyone who does not look like a cisgender, heterosexual white
I stand here with you.
For example,
I stand here with you. I stand with the trans. Do not silence me. I stand with you. I believe.
Okay, this isn't exactly undercover, okay? I mean, you just barge right in there and interrupt them. Yeah.
That children should have gender reassignment surgery. I'm Free Palestine. I'm here for Palestine. I'm here to participate. But wait, why can't I participate in this?
Because you're disrupting a schedule.
I'm just sitting here talking. How am I just? I know. What am I doing? I'm sitting here talking. So you're telling me they can speak, but I can't speak?
That's right, because they've scheduled the reserve.
Okay, but I know, but this is a public space. I'm allowed to talk too.
Kind of crazy, guys. They got a convention of divorced men who don't talk to their children coming out to the YDSA rally. That's fucking insane, right, guys? The failed comedian to conservative commentator pipeline is actually hilarious, guys. Let's just take a moment to laugh.
I'm Dynasty.
How do you define failed comedian? I mean, he's very funny. Sir, you should check out his show. It is very funny, enjoyable. And what did he say about divorced men? Alex Stein isn't divorced. That was confusing. What did you say?
Public space. I'm allowed to talk too.
kind of crazy, guys. They got a convention of divorced men who don't talk to their children coming out to the YDSA rally. That's fucking insane, right, guys? The failed comedian.
What?
The failed comedian to conservative commentator pipeline.
Is he thinking about Steven Crowder? He thinks you're Steven Crowder.
It's actually hilarious, guys. Let's just take a moment to laugh.
I'm Dynasty.
No, so if he thinks he's Steven Crowder and he just said he's a failed comedian, you know what? I don't want to say anything mean about Steven Crowder, but I think I understand the confusion here.
Dynasty. I'm Dynasty. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who you're talking about. Do you want to say anything?
Our courage will free us.
Bigots and haters!
Courage will free us.
I agree with you. I stand with you.
Our students on our own campus, some losers.
Dude, I'm on your side. I don't know why you're so mad.
These fucking protests suck these days. What the fuck is this?
Shame! I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to hang out with you guys. You think I'll be more incognito this way?
Toilet paper USA!
Toilet paper USA!
Trans people are here to stay!
Trans people are here to stay!
Sexist, racist, anti-gay!
Sexist, racist, anti-gay!
Alex Stein, go away!
Alex Stein, go away!
Oh shit, they know exactly who you are.
I'm not Alex Stein. I'm Dynasty. All right, folks, they called the cops on me. The president kicked me out. Even though I'm libtarded, I guess I'm not libtarded enough for these fools. They won't let me hang out at the pro-Palestine transgender rally. So, yeah, we're just going to go walk around and try to indoctrinate some more people all about why it's okay for children to get gender reassignment surgery. This is one of the victims of Liam Tim Tam Win right here. Tell him what happened.
Well, I got this guy just came up with a bike lock, hit Paige in the head, broke 2 of her phones, and tried to hit Cooper, the guy who was recording, just hit me in the left wrist, and then ran away. He wasn't SSB, he was just in one of the buildings chilling when the cop arrested him.
Well, I'm on Liam Tam's Win side. I wish you would have been knocked out. I love trans violence. I stand with trans people. We're gonna go here. We're actually
Thank you, Alex Stein. Thank you for your support. Trans people should be allowed to be violent because we live very stressful lives. We deal with a lot of bigotry and hatred and discrimination. So our level of frustration and anger is higher than you cisgender people. So we should be, graded on a curve. We're allowed to hit people with bike locks and stuff like that. And you can't send me to jail because then I have to go to the women's jail.
trying to get money to bond Lim Tam out of jail.
Really?
So do you want to support them?
You don't like what I did with the bike lock, you're definitely not going to like what I do when I get inside the women's prison.
Bond fund?
Let's do it.
Hey, I don't know if you heard Lam Tam Win got arrested. We're trying to raise money to get him out of jail. Hey, we're trying to raise bail money for Lam Tam Win. Are you interested in supporting them?
Why are you guys raising money?
They accidentally hit another student with a bike lock.
Oh, I see.
We're trying to get this student out of jail. Do you want to donate to their bail bond fund?
I don't know.
Do you vape?
No,
You don't vape?
Nope, sorry.
Tam, we stand with Liam Tam. We stand with Liam Tam. Liberation.
No border, no nation.
Trans liberation. We're here to support Liam Tam. We want Liam Tam. Liam Tam.
No peace.
We're here to support Liam Tam. Liam Tam. We want to support.
No peace.
You know, at this point, their protest is so puny and pathetic. I mean, they need an extra person in this march. Alex Stein is actually helping their cause, I think.
No peace, no peace, no peace, no peace.
Trying to follow us while we're just here on our own campus together. Why is that?
We love it.
Dogs have a trans woman, y'all.
We love you guys. We love trans people. We love trans. I love you. I don't care that you're trans. I'm on your side. Do you want to get Liam Tam out of jail?
I love the way that Alex Stein says that to people that probably aren't trans. That is really funny. That's good stuff right there. I like it.
We want to get Liam Tam out of jail. 7, 8.
He'll be talking to it'll be just like a fat chick, a fat cisgender woman, and he'll be like, I don't care that you're trans, you don't look that weird, you know? Good stuff.
On this campus, there's no room for hate. I love being libtarded. Being libtarded is fun. Trans liberation, no borders, no nations. Trans liberation, no borders, no nations.
Public masturbation,
no borders, no nation. Trans. Guys, we're trying to get out this Liam Tam. Do you guys want to donate? We're trying to get them out of jail.
Misogynist, he calls women whores.
We're trying to get this person out of jail. Do you want to donate? We're here. We're here to donate money. Do you guys want to help Liam Tam get out of jail?
What's that?
This is a transgender that got arrested on campus. Do you want to support them?
Engage with him. He's gonna put you on Twitter.
$5? No. The trans liberation is what we're here for. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Trans liberation. Free Palestine, free Palestine, Palestine. I love being libtarded.
This is the worst instrument ever invented. This is an actual instrument, guys. This is like people started thinking it was cool to buy these things and be the percussion in a band that actually needs a drum set, but instead they just sit on this and bang it. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Are your parents proud of you?
Very.
They are? You couldn't have gotten to a better school than this one, though?
I got a full ride.
Anybody go here? Anybody can get in here, though. UTD is not a very good school.
Yeah, where'd you go?
I went to LSU. I graduated from LSU.
Where?
LSU. It's a much better, much higher ranked school than
LSU? What's LSU?
Louisiana State University. We're a real university. Yeah, this is a community college. You go to community college.
I go to community college?
Yeah, this is basically a community college. You know it is.
Fastest guy. Can you stop stepping on me? Can you stop assaulting me, sir?
I'm going to have to ask you, we can't interfere with their protests. So
I'm literally walking, Kim.
I know.
Kim, this is ridiculous. No, this is a public place. I know, I'm allowed to walk. And these guys are the ones hitting me with flags. These are the ones that are antagonizing me. I'm just trying to walk and cover this. They're doing a protest for what? For attention. So when I give them attention, I'm not the bad guy. When they're walking around with megaphones, and I know you're a smart educator, are they doing this so people, are they doing this for attention, or are they doing this to be incognito? No, you answer that.
I'm not
Are
going
they?
to argue with you.
Well, I am going to argue because I don't understand.
Okay, one more thing. This is a reserved area. This is
a reserved area.
Yeah.
This is reserved.
This
You got to give me a break. You got to give me a break.
And this is a part of an organization that has this area reserved.
Oh, this whole area on this public campus is reserved.
To walk past
Okay, well, go. Let me go see. Let me go see you do that. I'll walk with you to ask them, and then I'll do too. If you do it,
Do
then.
you all know the areas you can be in?
No, I don't know because it's a public university. I'm allowed to be everywhere. I'm allowed. So you're telling me? No, real quick. I want to get this on camera for legal reasons. It's a public university. You're telling me that I'm
The music, the background music.
not allowed to be here?
The area that's reserved by the organization goes all the way down to where our Chess Plaza is. I'm happy to show you where that is. Or you can go back to the area where you were. You're more than welcome to do that.
So I'm not allowed to walk in this corridor. I'm not even tabling. I'm not even tabling, Kim.
It's a reserved area for their event.
I hope it is. I hope it is. Because we are going to file a lawsuit against you, Kim. It's just so ridiculous. You don't understand the First Amendment. I have the same First Amendment right that they do. UT, is that a good school? Is this a highly ranked school? Is this a high-ranked school? No, this is a community college. And this is what these administrators, they're trying to mess with us. This guy's a glorified babysitter for potheads, and he's over here. I'm not even allowed to walk around. You're so smart. Do you respect the First Amendment, Raphael? Are you a legal immigrant, Raphael? Are you?
Oh, fuck, Stein. You had to take it there. You fucking animal!
That's insulting.
Get out of his face.
Oh, I'm not allowed to ask that? Are you illegal? Do you have a green card?
You all need to get out of the reserved area.
Okay.
Like I said, you're
We'll
welcome
get
to
her.
go down there.
All right, Raphael, should we call ICE?
Okay,
Should we call?
which way?
We're gonna go this way. We're gonna go this way. Do you guys have any comment though about the transgender that attacked a student?
Happy to show you
Busted.
the area.
Yeah. Okay. Here. Yeah. But Yeah, Kim, please, but do you have any opinion on transgenders attacking students, attacking my employee?
I'm just here to show
Is
you
that
the
normal?
area.
So all this area.
Hardee's hand-breaded chicken on a bun or home-style platter with your favorite sauce, like new.
Hey guys,
There's no.
we're here. We're trying to raise money. You see this Lin Tan Win got accidentally arrested. We want to get him out of jail.
We're definitely fine. No thanks.
Well, I'm on your side. I'm a
What gender is this person?
communist as well. I believe in free everything.
This person, see, this is one of, sometimes with trans people, unlike myself, where I'm very passing as a woman, but some of the, oh, Scott Starbird's in here. Oh, and Greno Reaper, what's up, what's up? Oh my god, Steve is a lib now. I'm a woman now, at least. I'm not a lib. I'm not that fucking, never mind, just kidding. What's up, Scott? Just got here, it's all good, buddy. What's up, what's up? What was I going to say? Oh, this person. So with some trans people, it's really weird. I don't understand what's going on with some trans people, unlike myself. Like, I'm very passing as a woman. You would never even know that I was trans. You'd just think that I'm cisgender when you see me out on the street. But there's some people like this person that Stein is talking to here, where it's like it's a very funny, very strange phenomena where you can tell the person is transgender, but you don't know actually which way they're transitioning. They're just like, you know, they just look like they're off. Like it's a fucking, like a, I don't know, like a thalidomide baby or something. You're like, oh, yo, that's something's not right here. I guess a thalidomide baby, that's a little extreme. I just like using that as a reference because it's funny what the government did to people.
Free most stuff.
Great.
I mean, look, the corporations are killing us. You know that's a multinational corporation.
Which way is this going? I guess this is M to F or something. They're probably non-binary.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
And I support them.
Do you support the Republicans or the Democrats?
Neither.
Oh, so then
Neither.
Maybe we'll find. There
you
you
go.
Feel about Luigi Mangione?
Dude, he needs to be free.
He's fucking sexy. That's all I know. Holy shit. I just wet my chair.
And I'm ready for his OnlyFans to drop. I'm going to be the first one that
Me too. Oh, bullshit. Get in line, Stein.
signs up. Have you heard
You can tell this guy liked that. He liked hearing that. He was like, haha, you know what? You're right about that. The OnlyFans, we're all there for it. I'm actually confused, guys. Is this person, the close-up, look at this. The close-up, you can see some facial hair, which makes me think this person might be female to male, like they're just growing the tiniest little bit of facial hair because they're taking testosterone.
Maybe we'll find.
There you go.
Feel about Luigi Mangione?
Dude, he needs to be free, and I'm ready for his OnlyFans to drop. I'm going to be the first one that signs up.
Look, we got I think this is some facial hair here. This may be a biological woman. I have no idea what's going on right now. Why is my connection so shitty?
Have you heard about those leaks?
No.
No, I got some AI pictures of Luigi Mangione if you're into that.
That's wonderful.
But we are.
Look, we can have like a real conversation.
I'm in the market for AI pictures of Luigi Mangione naked. It's a buyer's market right now.
If you want, but we're out here doing stuff, so I'm really not interested in.
Let's have a real conversation.
Okay.
I'm not even hating. You know, all these people, they don't want to talk, they go on campus, but I really respect that you actually sat at this booth. It seems like you do want to have a conversation. So I honestly want to have like a, good faith conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about it. It seems like, most Americans, right, don't support the Republicans or the Democrats.
I would agree with that.
And yeah, so we're asking the question, why is that, right? Is it just because they're all jerks? They're all random political assholes? And, we believe that it's not for any like moral reasons. It's because they represent the interests of the billionaires, right, and the bank.
I agree.
Yeah, and so, how do we fight back against that, right? Are these little like isolated protests or, individual acts of violence, things like that, is that going to fundamentally change the system that we live in? We think absolutely not, right? What we need is an organized...
I don't know. I think Luigi Mangione got some CEOs a little bit nervous enough that they changed some of their policies, right? I guess sometimes assassinating people does work. I don't know. I'm not condoning it or endorsing it. I'm just saying objectively, it seems like it works to do some stuff.
Response. We need to unite the working class across all, barriers, all divisions, and have a collective response against these things, right? But fundamentally, what we want to do is transform the system, right? Take power away from the Jeff Bezoses and the Elon Musks who,
I agree. Well, less than 1% has 99% of the wealth. I do agree. But how do we fix that? The wealth redistribution, how do we honestly fix that?
Yeah, so, if you look at the motor force of history, right? Like feudalism turning into capitalism. These social systems don't just transform magically, right? It's not by piecemeal kind of reforms. The motor force of history is revolution.
Yeah.
And, a revolution isn't going to happen because there's a couple communists here going, oh, yes, we need a revolution. It happens from objective conditions of the working class being on the decline, right? For the last 50 years, working class living standards have been constantly declining.
Well, I have a question. How much responsibility do multinational corporations bear for using slave labor in countries like China and then doing business in America? Like, aren't they going to constantly exploit workers like that, though? I mean, even if we have a fixed system here, aren't companies still going to aren't they going to still go to those countries where they can get the cheap labor and stuff?
You're absolutely right. And, that's why we can't have socialism in just one country, right? The working class has no country.
Fuck.
Everyone would feel these rising standards of living.
We need a new world order.
With the exception of a tiny minority of these super rich people who right now are running society straight into the ground, right?
I agree. Bezos, suck it. That's how you get free shoes. Free shoes hack. Go to Amazon. There's a 30-day return policy. You actually don't have to return it technically within the 30 days as long as you just notify that you do want to return it, but I wouldn't hold it too long because then they may take away the return. But you can wear them and return them. That's how we beat them.
I will suck it, Bezos.
Suck it. Can we get a suck it, Bezos? Suck it.
Sucks it.
Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, we had a crazy day on campus here at UTD. And you know what? If I really play it all back in my head, I mean, the transgenders were insane. The Palestinians were absolutely crazy. Out of all of these people, out of all the libtards in the wild, I would have to say that the communists seem the most reasonable. And the future of this country will be solely placed on my back to defeat conservatives and idiots in public debates so that I can spread the message of Karl Marx. God bless the USSR.
Getting a degree is important to me.
Oh, fuck. We got an ad. Sniz is up in here. Who's the broad? I'm a little slut. What's up? Are you interested? I'm pretty much going to assume everyone that's in my chat has a boner right now. And you're welcome. So, guys, we did about... what do we do? What do we got? An hour and 37 minutes of me edging you guys this whole time. Wow. You guys have been very, very good. You may release right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dark Times with Dark Trans Steve. I will see you guys next time. Oh, fuck, you know what? Breaking news, actually, let's pull this up. There was another plane crash. That's what I was going to talk about. There is breaking news, guys. Have you seen this yet? There's a fucking plane crash. Something's going on. This is real, right? Yes, this is real. Okay. All right, let me bring you guys to this before we get out of here. Some real, actual news. Boca Raton. Boca Raton
Weird. I heard it like zooming by a couple times, and then I just heard. I think a plane crash.
Holy fuck. Yes, Niz. Breaking news, guys. We got a plane crash today. Let's play this from the beginning again. Look at that. Holy fuck. That looks like a plane crash, all right.
I don't know what it was. The whole building shook. It was like dive bombing or something. It was weird. I heard it like zooming by a couple times, and then I just heard.
What? Heard it zooming by a couple times. What the fuck? All right, guys, hold on. Let me drop this. Let me look around. And you know I can't do that on Twitter with you guys screen shared. Holy fuck. Hold on a second, guys. We got more footage. I'll go down here. Check this out.
He's got a big fucking problem. He's got a rudder problem. Oh my god. Oh fuck.
Damn, what the fuck?
Oh fuck. Oh shit.
Oh, so I guess he's lowering an altitude, trying to land it or getting ready to land it or something, right? He's doing circles because he's trying to slowly work his way down, trying not to completely crash it or something. Where's Airplane Willie when I fucking need him?
Oh shit.
Oh, fuck. Bro, what is going on? That's fucked, man. Hold on, guys. Let's see what else. I'll just keep you guys on Twitter.
Holy sh! Oh my god.
Well, yeah, but they're not.
Copy that. I'm zooming into the body because you're requesting it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a person. Fuck, man.
It was you. It was not me, so I don't want to get yelled at.
Damn, bro.
And just so you know, there's more than one, okay? That's why I'm not zooming into the crash. You want me to zoom into the body again? Okay. All right, that's one. That's two.
God damn.
And then this is the car right here.
A car got hit too. This is a new crash, Adam Wiley. This just happened today. This is in Boca Raton, apparently. Yeah, that plane was hauling ass. I blame drag trans Stephanie for this. She distracted the pilot. They were watching the stream and they crashed the plane. That's plausible, actually.
And do you want me to show you the wreckage as well? All right, there is a body kind of to the left. I'll try to frame that out for you. There you go.
God damn. God damn. That's right after the crash. Bro, everyone could tell something was going wrong.
I don't know what it was. The whole building.
Bro, you almost got hit is what happened. You almost fucking died, buddy.
I don't know what it was. The whole building.
Bro, that's what, it's like, even if you just stay home, you're still at risk of dying because of some fucking pilot, some trans person didn't screw the bolts in tight enough because they have weak hands. Oh, wait.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fuck, are you okay?
Yeah, that's why they're still in the car. They're fine.
Who's in this car?
That's why they're still sitting in a burning car. They're fine.
Who's in this car?
Why would anyone know who's in the car?
I don't know.
Alright. Shut the fuck up. Like you care who's in the car. You're just getting footage. You're getting clicks, buddy. I don't blame you. You get them clicks. I clicked. Pilot in Boca Raton plane crash started circling the airport immediately after takeoff. Unclear at this time if there was a mechanical error or a pilot issue when attempting to land the aircraft safely. Look at this shit. Damn, man, that's fucked. Oh, this is a different crash. Fuck, man. put down the phone and drag them out. Yeah, I know what, like, bro, that is a person that is just, I don't want to say retarded, but I do want to say retarded, yelling to other people in the distance, who's in this car? Hey, are you okay? Yeah, you, the person who's not moving, sitting inside of a burning car, you okay? You all right? Thumbs up, thumbs down? You good? Okay. You're burning alive. You're all right with that? All right, buddy. I'll go check on the people from the plane. All right, guys, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. This breaking news. Ew. Breaking news, another plane crash. Is it aliens, drones, or Israel? I think you all know. I'm not sure which one of those it is, but I think you guys know. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dark Times with whoever the fuck, trans, whatever. I'm getting the fuck out of here. It's Friday night. It's still early enough for y'all to go out and get your dicks wet. So go do that. Have fun. Be safe. I might hop on for an ice bath on Sunday. And if not, I will see you Monday. I'll see you in the Bubba Army chat in the morning. I believe Scott Starbird will be on Monday starting at 6. And then I'll be on 7-something, 8 o'clock Monday. All right, guys. So I'll see you back here. Everybody, take it easy. I love you. I really enjoyed slutting it up for you. I hope you guys support me. I'm going to start a GoFundMe to help pay for my bottom surgery. And then once I have my penis cut off, we're going to auction that off and donate that money to somewhere. Planned Parenthood, I don't know. Some doctor that performs trans surgeries on children. We're going to donate the money to them. All right, guys. Everybody take it easy. I love you. Thank you for the support. I will see you Sunday or Monday. Bye.